spirituality versus religion. And specifics of that topic is more based on what is religion based about, which is fear, and then spirituality is based more on freedom. So that's today's topic. When it comes to these two topics, you guys, how do you view them?
Like religion was played a big role in the way I was raised. And so some of the things that I wasn't really too keen about, I guess I would say about the Hindu religion is one is that they have a caste system. And so in that caste system, you have at the top of it, they are called Brahmins, and those are considered priests. And that was what we were considered. And then, there would be something known as like the Kshatriyas, which are warriors. The second part for me that was a little bit difficult to understand was the fact that, we have multiple gods. It wasn't like we just have one. And we do have a main god. His name is Lord Krishna. But then we have Madharani, we have Lord Shiva, we have Lord Ganesha, right? We have all these different deities that we pray to, and we pray to them for different reasons, like obstacles, like for money, for love and marriage, for just prosperity, and so imagine how confusing that is, to someone that's being raised. It's like, hey, which one am I supposed to be praying to? Like, who am I being associated with that I'm at this point in my journey? Right? It's very confusing in that aspect. And the last thing that really got to me with our religion was the concept of karma. The way that we are taught karma was that if you do something bad in this life, meaning bad for us would be not following certain codes of conduct in Hinduism, not practicing the certain religious ceremonies. And, there are, I feel, a religious ceremony that occurs like every week. There's some sort of religious holiday, and that would require you to not eat meat, not drink, fast, all these different things that they would require you to do. And if you didn't do it, you would be facing karma, and that would be bad karma. Like something would happen to you during this life. You wouldn't know what, but something was going to happen to you that was bad at any moment if you did not practice these specific religious ceremonies. And on top of that, it wouldn't just affect you this life. The karma would also come for you the next life. And so because we believe in reincarnation, and how you come back in the next life is based on the karmas that you have done in this lifetime.
So I guess my question to you guys is like, how was feared from the upbringing with religion affected your life and your relationship with other people?
There's something called confession in the Catholic Church, where if you do something that is wrong, you're supposed to confess that sin to another human being, another mortal, someone who has the same blood coursing through their veins like I do. I'm supposed to report these wrongdoings to them and then ask for forgiveness and absolution. And then he's supposed to act as an intermediary between me and God. That never sat right with me, because everything that I've ever felt, everything that I've ever read was that, God is available at all times. You can talk to God at all times. God is also within you, and God is who you are modeled off of. And it even says in the Bible that we're all made in the image of God. So it didn't sit right with me. I've always been a very logical thinker, and it was just very uncomfortable. And then when I did something wrong in my life, I think this is to answer your question. It could be something as simple as not remembering to do my homework, using a bad word at school and getting caught. I then had this fear, like, oh my gosh, like I've let my mom down. My priest is going to look down on me. Now I have to sit there in front of him and tell him about this. And it's not like I can just keep it from him, because he's going to know, and it's going to affect my relationship with God. And now I might go to hell. Like there's this just domino effect of bad thoughts due to this fear. And I never thought about it until the way you brought it up, as far as like it being fear based. So I guess it gave me this sense of fear throughout my life, or this sense of me not being good enough, like Nick said, because I was unable to perform to the degree that I was told to perform at.
When it comes to spirituality, it's more about freedom, right? there is no set structure of rules that you need to follow. Spirituality is more welcoming, more freeing. Like what works for you is what works for you because you are on your own walk, on your own path with a creator, with a divine, whatever you want to call it, because they're not saying like you need to call this Jesus Christ or you need to call this whatever deity that, you know, a lot of religions follow. So how do you view the difference now? And um by you going down this path, right, the spiritual path, and kind of like having your own relationship, and that comes with your own relationship with self and creator, how has that changed your life, as in like the freeingness that you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, this whole spiritual journey started, when I went to a rehab after numerous things that occurred into my life, where it was like a perfect storm and things kind of crashed, and the shaky foundation that my life was built upon, which is a lot of ego, kind of came crumbling down. At that point, I consider there was like a divine intervention that occurred where but the question really became for me at that point is that who actually made that decision to seek out help? Who is the person that decided to surrender, to what needs to happen to allow myself to rebuild myself with a strong foundation and get the help that I needed? Was that God that did that? Or is that me who made those decisions to allow myself to get to where I'm at today? And so I started really delving into spirituality. And I do believe that when spirituality, which is what is very liberating, is that the more that you work on yourself, the more that you heal your wounds, you notice your vibration starting to elevate. And the more that you put yourself in this unconditional love energy, the lighter you feel and the closer to God, you start becoming. And it's that feeling of this is all internal and that God is inside of me and that we are God-like, all of us. When I was doing these spiritual ceremonies that my mom would make me recite every night, I was only doing it because I was being told to do it. It wasn't coming in from an internal place. I had no connection to it at all. In fact, there came a point where a lot of bad things were happening to me in life, and I would just blame God because I'd be like, well, I did all the things that you were saying, you wanted me to do, and yet I'm still in this predicament, right? And so you can see how that like resentment can start building up, right, against an organized religion, and it certainly did for me. However, when I turned more to being a spiritual being, there is a higher power that I look to that helps guide me, but a lot of that guidance comes within. And especially when you are working on healing, you can trust your intuition a lot more. And you can trust that you don't always have to have the answers, but your intuition and how you feel is guiding you to the place where you need to get to.